We're going to respond to a couple of questions presented by the audience. And again, if anyone has any additional questions, please feel free to present them to the candidates. One of the questions that was presented was regarding e-waste, and it's a two-part question that we'll present to the candidates. The first question, or first part of the question, and we'll present this to Betty. How would you address this growing issue of e-waste? And don't forget your mic.
You know, with reference to the cities, they are participating in an e-waste program by providing certain days in which that e-waste is being collected. And what the companies are doing is that are being contracted with to collect up the e-waste, what they are doing is they are taking the e-waste and they actually are taking parts from it, or they're tearing it apart, and they are actually recycling parts back in. And so that is one thing that we can do and do a lot better, is in terms of recycling. The companies will recycle some of these, electronic rejects, and it really is occurring a lot more often nowadays, because the kids are always using these things, and then they get tired of it and it gets into the trash again. And then the technology changes and our computer changes. We are always changing our cell phones and all. But there also is a method whereby these companies should be encouraged to recycle them for sale to countries that cannot afford to have these products. And rather than tear them apart, some of these products can be utilized to do that. And that would involve in our trade laws to make it more feasible for them to be able to take it overseas without having to pay a penalty, and work with the different countries so that they can accept these products for use in their country.
Thank you. And we're going to go ahead and let you expand on the second part of this question so we can keep it as coherent as possible. The second question, thank you. And this one will be reduced to 1 minute. The question is, how would you be able to bring grant funding into the 32nd District for e-waste programs, jobs, and education?
You know, the grants are extremely limited. And I will tell you that one of the things that I have been doing is I have an intern right now, and I have her on the computer looking for grants in order to expand the services that we are having to curtail in our city, so that it can supplant some of those different services that we are going to have to quit because the state is taking away so much money from us. But I think one thing is that we don't know about is the various different federal governments do have different programs. However, that knowledge isn't really getting to the various local entities nor getting to the businesses. And I think there has to be a mechanism. There really is a group now that is disseminating better information regarding federal programs.
Thank you.
And we need to partner then with our private businesses to be able to take advantage of those grants.
Thank you, Betty. Chris, the two-part question. Okay. First one is, how would you address the growing issue of e-waste?
Well, in one aspect, I disagree with Betty. Sending the parts and stuff across, I saw a couple of articles, and I'm assuming that they're true, where we had sent recyclable stuff and materials to China, and this particular thing was unregulated and unwatched, and the pollution was going right into the ground and the community, and that particular government, again, according to the articles that I saw, is a worse polluter than anything we could imagine. So I wouldn't really want to outsource that if that's what's going to happen to the e-waste material. I can give something on the likelihood of what happened to me just a few weeks ago. I had to recycle some stale gas. And I used to be able to take this to the fire station, just give it to them, they'd use it in their fires and everything. Well, we don't have that anymore. Well, what do you mean? Well, you got to go to the recycle plant. Well, okay, where's that? Well, they're only open 9 to 2, Fridays and Saturdays. Here we have a perfect facility where the guys, when they're not fighting fires, they could use the materials, and it's all in-house, and it's under the same umbrella. But no, our beautiful federal government and state and local governments, they had to create a whole different animal and cost the taxpayers more money again. So with the thing of e-waste, I want to find something that's already under an existing umbrella that we can incorporate it and make it easy on the consumers. I haven't gotten rid of all the gas yet because it's 9 to 2 on a Friday. Oh, yeah, and a Saturday. And then I went to my own city where I live. They don't even have a program. I had to either go to Chino, Upland, or Ontario in this case. So one of the e-waste thing is you got to make it available for every city and incorporate it into something that's already there. Save the taxpayers their money. You've already got the infrastructure there. Just utilize it. And in this case, it's not flammables.
Thank you, Chris. And on the last 1 minute portion of this question, again, how would you, as a Congressperson selected from District 32, bring grant funding into this area to create e-waste programs, jobs, and education?
Okay, as far as the grants, when we do spend our government money, this would probably be a better one. But grant still means one thing, folks. That's granted to them. I had a grant when I went to school. I had a state scholarship and a grant. The grant I didn't have to repay, but someone put up that money. So I'm not real crazy about using grants, but if we have to use grants, e-waste would be a good way to spend it compared to some of the grants that they give out there right now that are absolutely ridiculous. So again, I don't want to have any more money coming out of the taxpayers' pockets for any grants. I think we could work out something without having to give a grant and still create the jobs in the district and not cost the taxpayers any more money.
Thank you, Chris. And for the sake of time, we're going to go ahead and give the candidates an opportunity to make a closing statement. And at that point, after we're done with it, if you have any questions you'd like to present to them directly, feel free to approach them on it. So we have 1 minute left for each candidate to make a closing statement as to their issue and their positions, okay? For the sake of time, thank you.
Okay.
Betty.
I went 2 minutes, okay.
I am against higher taxes. I am for family values. I am for creation of jobs through promotion of small businesses in our community. And with reference to environmental impacts, let me tell you that my son is negotiating millions of dollars of contracts because he works for a company that deals with research on the environment. Right now, he is working on projects to reduce carbon emissions in our atmosphere. So I think that I do have the resources to be able to represent you as the best candidate in Washington. And I will tell you that my history has always been of an open door, of listening and working together with you. And when government says, no, you can't do it, that has never stopped me. If I have a way of doing it and that way is blocked, I will seek an alternative.
Thank you,
Remember
Betty.
to vote for Betty, B as in the better chew.
Thank you, Betty. Okay. Chris, your closing statement, please. Thank you again, audience. Chris, your closing statement, please.
Well, you all probably voted May 19th, and I was the only transparent candidate then that was against the props. And I had it on my website, and I told everyone I was against all of them. Now, the voters in this district defeated these 2-1. Had you guys just voted for this, in fact, some of the other candidates actually supported these. Had you voted that way, I'd be in Washington right now because I would have gotten over 50% of the vote. But you got another chance here on July 14th. They don't want me in Congress, and I'll tell you why. Those two parties, regardless of who gets in there, they're going to do this to them. You can hear me there? They're going to pull their ears. Oh, you know, I don't have to do that. I only have to listen to what you folks voted me in there for because I don't have to put up with the Republican or Democratic Party. I'm a boat rocker. They don't want me there. I'm the one that's going to knock them right out of the boat with my own paddle. But if you don't vote for me, we're going to be up the creek without the paddle. And by the way, this paddle was made in Mississippi, not China.
Thank you, Chris.